Everyone, it's BYG Agami back with another video. Today we're going to be going over a Buzzfeed article relating towards Yu-Gi-Oh! So about a month ago, I got a private message from a YouTube user that actually created this Buzzfeed article, and Kira's Corner is the community user that created this article. And this is basically them giving their thoughts and ranking every duel in Yu-Gi-Oh! In order. And I initially was supposed to post this, like, I would say probably a month ago, but you know, as Yu-Gi-Oh! Variants and other Dark Side Dimension stuff came out, I was overwhelmed with that. But let's sort of read this. I know I do. I remember back in the day when I actually looked forward to getting up before 8 a.m. I eagerly wanted to see who Ash was going to battle against, or how the Digidestins were going to finish off Pidomon, and I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong, and the Dark Masters. For many young anime fans, I feel the transition I experienced was fairly similar to most. Wake up to catch the ending credits for Dragon Ball Z during the weekend, then watch Pokemon after a few years, move on to Digimon, stay with it until about the Frontier Saga. From there, you either realized that you were over these kind of stylistic fantastical stories, or you chose to expand your nerdy horizons. When the latter path ultimately led you to was a staple in the YA shonen for years and years to come, creating a fascination that has revolutionized the TV show card game merchandise relationship as we know it, Yu-Gi-Oh! And this GIF, even though it's GIF, I say GIF simply because the creator of GIF said GIF. But yeah, this GIF is from the Mai duel. After Yugi or Yami defeats Mai, he does the thumbs up and then she walks off. So let's go. I'm not going to go over everything that Kira's Corner said about this, about their thoughts on the duel. He sort of gives a bio and what his thoughts are. And I'm going to give my thoughts, and I'm going to sort of give my thoughts on where I rank these duels. So he says honorable mentions, but the honorable mentions duel is Yugi versus Joey number 3. Now you guys might be saying, Yugi dueling Joey 3 times? I thought it was only twice. Well, in episode 1 titled The Hearted Cards, Yugi does duel Joey. At least for like the first minute of that sequence or the episode itself. So yeah, you can count that as a duel. Joey, I think Yugi wins. Yeah, Yugi wins that duel. Dishonorable mentions the KC Grand Prix arc. I enjoy this arc. So yeah, he's talking about the animator. So basically, in that arc, in season 5 of Duel Monsters in Japan, Yu-Gi-Oh! Was basically low on ratings. They had to wrap up the show simply because Memory World was more story than dueling. And when you have more story than dueling, you can't sell cards. And when you can't sell cards, you can't get profit. And when you can't get profit, you have Kaiba looking like this. So let's move down. Okay, so the first thing on the list is, so wait, there's 68 duels in Duel Monsters? That's quite interesting. Actually, no, there isn't. I'm pretty sure there's at least more. But Kaiba versus Street Thug, Season 2, Episode 11. So what this duel is, I'm pretty sure this is right between the Strings duel, or before that. And Kaiba gets Obelisk the Tormentor. He versus a Street Thug because the Street Thug was picking on Mokuba or something like that. And Kaiba summons Obelisk, and literally one turn he summons it. After that, we have at the number 67 spot. Oh yeah, this is a good pick. Not that bad. 67th spot is Johnny Steps versus Yami Yugi, Season 2, Episode 4. So this is that episode where Yugi and Taya go on a date. And basically, Taya's doing Dance Dance Revolution, whatever they call it in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime, or whatever it's called in Japan. It's a similar version of that game. And Johnny Steps is basically cheating, and then Yugi has a duel with Johnny Steps. And Yugi's beating Johnny Steps, and Johnny Steps is about to forfeit because he doesn't want to lose, or he knows he's gonna lose. And Taya's like, "Get up, man! What are you doing? You shouldn't give up." And then she talks about in the subversion, because that's what I remember. She talks about how I failed at dancing before several times and I never gave up. So yeah, Yugi defeats Johnny Steps. There really isn't that much to talk about this duel because Johnny Steps is just a random at the end of the day, and Yugi's the main character. He's not gonna lose to a random. Okay, so number 66 on the list is Taya versus Mai, Season 1, Episode 25. And if I remember correctly, actually no, this episode's called Shining Friendships, I'm pretty sure. And this is right after the Kaiba versus Yugi duel, and Yugi's sort of in shock. So Taya goes up to duel Mai. And what happens is Mai is basically beating Taya. We all know that's going to happen simply because Mai is a better duelist and outclasses Taya in every aspect of dueling. And what that does is that Mai basically forfeits. Like she doesn't forfeit, but she to lose on purpose so Yugi can sort of snap back into reality and see that Taya never gave up. And Taya beats Mai. As I said before, she makes Taya win on purpose so Yugi can snap back into reality, because the fact is that Yami, what he did was he didn't care. He didn't care. He was going to let Kaiba die. And Yugi was still sort of in shock, and his body was still sort of in shock, and he didn't know how to react to that, to be quite honest. Like, without Taya jumping in and Yugi stopping it, Yami would have killed Kaiba, essentially. Taya has the W, and Mai gives Taya star chips, and then Taya gives it to Yugi, and Yugi can finally compete in Duelist Kingdom. Number 65 is Joey versus Rare Hunter, Season 2, Episode 6. And this is the second time we get to see Exodia summoned. And this Rare Hunter, he basically... Oh yeah, this duel also represents the new duel discs. This is the first duel that shows off Kaiba's new duel disc, so that's pretty cool. But basically what happens is that I think Joey was on his way to meet Serenity to the hospital. And this Rare Hunter comes in and he duels Joey and summons Exodia, and Joey loses his red eyes. And there's this actually one scene. Oh, Joey goes missing, and the dub still follows it. But there's this one scene that the dub cut out, and that was Honda, or Trishan, knocking some sense into Joey, because what Joey did was he was at the beach, and he didn't care about his sister's eye operation. Rather, he was like, he couldn't fathom the fact that he lost his red eyes, and Trishan just knocked some sense into him. And basically what the dub did is they cut that part off, and they just showed Trishan driving off with Joey on the back of Trishan's motorbike. But yeah, this duel is well done. The fact was that the Exodia summon looked beautiful. Like, Battle City and Duelist Kingdom have the best animation in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters. Not the other series, though. Mai versus Jean-Claude Magnum. Now, a little backstory on Jean-Claude Magnum is that this dude is he's an actor. He's a famous celebrity, and he meets Mai on this, Mai used to be, I don't even know what Mai was. I think Mai was like, she used to work on casinos or boats or something like that. And Jean-Claude loses to Mai, and Mai's like, oh yeah, if you beat me, I'll let you marry me, or something like that. You know, just Mai joking around, and Jean sort of took that a little bit too much, and he sort of hunts down Mai. And he duels Mai, and then I'm pretty sure, yeah, he kidnaps Mai, which is quite funny. He kidnaps Mai, and Joey comes in, and I forget, Joey saves Mai, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, it was an okay duel, and I like his deck a lot. His deck was actually based around the movie that he was featured in, and it was like a ninja movie. So yeah, I like that. And I like the people that, the designs of the people that kidnapped Mai, or the little scheme that went on to kidnap Mai, was like ninjas flying out of the air and taking her, which was quite funny. But yeah, this duel was okay. I felt like it was prolonged a little bit. Of course, it was like a little, I wouldn't say filler, but it was basically like a little bit of duels just to prolong a little bit until we get into the Battle City quarterfinals. Number 63 is Yugi versus Rebecca, Season 1, Episode 41 to 42. Now, this is right after Episode 40 of Duel Monsters, titled Aftermath, which is basically a plot-heavy episode. I think it's one of the most plot-heavy episodes in all of Duel Monsters. Now, what I like about this episode, Rebecca is an annoying character. She is so annoying, and that stupid teddy bear in her hand. I hate Rebecca, but what I like about this duel is that Rebecca is I think she lies. She lies that she's like a dueling champion, at least in the sub version. I forget in the dub. And she's talking about how, oh, you took my blue eyes white dragon to Grandpa, and Grandpa's like, what are you talking about? He doesn't know that Rebecca is Arthur's granddaughter, and Arthur and Grandpa go way back. I'm talking years into their past, and they basically were on this Egyptian excavation, if I recall correctly. And they're dueling for water. And the duel that Yugi and Rebecca had in the modern day, and the duel that Arthur and Solomon had in the past, was play by play the same duel. And basically what I like about this duel is that, of course, Yugi loses, he surrendered. But he surrenders the duel, and the reason why he surrendered was to teach Rebecca a lesson. And what's funny is that Grandpa does show Rebecca the blue eyes, and it's all teared up. And then Arthur comes out of nowhere. And man, I just love the whole Grandpa and Arthur like little friendship, man. Like, that's so dope. But this duel is pretty cool because we get Arthur's cards, and I like them, like that Millennium Shield, and I forget what card Rebecca uses, but it's that like disgusting ghost monster. I'll try to post an image up if I remember. And yeah, I like this duel. I think this duel should be a little bit up on the rankings, to be quite honest, because I'm not more of a how the monsters look, etc. I'm more about the plot and the reasonings and what the characters learn from the duels. That's at least my personal thoughts and how I rank duels. Number 62 is Yugi versus Gurimo, and I'm sorry if I butchered that name. Season 4, episode 1 to 2. So this is right after Yugi trying to go to the Domino Museum, and he's gonna place 3 Egyptian god cards on the memory tablet, and Darts freezes the tablet because he doesn't want Tim to get his memories back. And this whole arc's filler. Such a well done arc, but it's filler. And I remember this duel. a little bit. I think this is the introduction of the Seal of Orichalcos. Guramo, I have no idea how to pronounce this dude's name. He summons Obelisk the Tormentor, if I remember correctly. And Tim basically defeats Obelisk by cutting off the pectoral or something like that. And what I like about that duel is that it shows that Tim knows the weaknesses to his cards. Even though the person that worked under Darts was able to take one of Tim's most powerful cards, he wasn't scared. What he did was, and this is what Tim did was he defeated that person. So props to Tim on that. I like this duel. This duel is okay. I feel like this should be a little bit lower on the rankings, at least for me. Kaiba versus Computer Season 2, Episode 5. So this is when Kaiba obtains the Egyptian god card known as Obelisk the Tormentor from Ishizu a few episodes back. And he's testing out Obelisk the Tormentor, and I remember the system's going to overload. And he's laughing. He's one of the most cynical laughs in all of Yugi. He just laughs because it's so powerful. Yugi versus Panic, and I agree, this duel should be around this ranking. Yugi versus Panic. Now, what Yugi and Panic's duel. Now, episode 14. This duel takes place between episode 14 and 15, I'm pretty sure. Episode 15 or 14, one of them is called The Winning Through Intimidation. Why I remember that is because this episode, at least in Duelist Kingdom, is one of the greatest animated episodes. Like the detail, the coloring, the dark colors, just everything about this episode is so beautiful. There might be a few flaws here and there on the faces. Like, even looking at that image right now, you can tell the flaws on the faces, but the episode was well animated and drawn. So basically what happens in this episode is that Mai is kidnapped by Panic twice in a row. She gets kidnapped in Battle City as well. But yeah, Panic takes Mai under hostage because Panic works for Pegasus, and his name is Player Killer of Darkness. Tim defeats Panic, and what I like about this duel is that Panic is basically his monsters. And this is very similar to the Pandora or Arcana duel, where Tim is sort of backed up in a corner. Where in the Panic duel, Panic had like a flamethrower launching towards Tim, and it was basically gonna burn his body. But spoiler alert, Tim wins that duel because he's a Tim. He activates Swords of Revealing Light, which reveal Panic's monsters because his monsters are hidden through darkness. Get it, Player Killer of Darkness. So Tim can't see his monsters, but since he activated Swords of Revealing Light, his monsters were revealed. He defeats it. Panic gets mad, freaking hits this button, and out comes these flames, and the Millennium Puzzle creates a force field, which is quite interesting, and neutralizes Panic's attack. And in the Pandora duel during Battle City, basically Tim had these things on his legs, like they were sort of cuffs of some sort, and there were saws. As the life points went down, his legs were going to get cut off. And I forget how the duel ends. I'm pretty sure Yugi wins that duel. Yeah, Yugi definitely wins that duel, and he escapes, and it isn't until Yami transforms back into Yugi and Yugi saves Pandora. But yeah, this duel is really well. I like this duel a lot. I like the colors and the visuals of it as well. Taya versus Crumb, Season 3, Episode 5 to 6. So, I'm not a huge fan of the Noah arc, or the Virtual World arc. I'm not a huge fan of it. I don't like the Big Five. I think this should have been done after the Legendary Heroes Quest arc. That's right after the Little Girl from America duel or arc, little mini arc, and before the Duke Devlin arc or Dungeon Dice Monsters arc. And Crumps is just a bad character. I just don't like him, dude. I found this character annoying. I found that the duel was okay. Like, Taya just has, I'm pretty sure she's one of the female leads that have an undefeated record, 3 wins. I forget what her, Mai, Crumps, and then, I think Joey. Well, at least the manga, she has a win over Joey. I don't know about Duel Monsters. in the anime. But yeah, this duel is okay. I remember Taya using Dark Magician as her deck master. But yeah, there's really nothing else I could really talk about this duel. I feel like this should be on the top of the ranking in terms of how bad, or in terms of lowest. Yugi versus Bandit Keith. Let's see how far this list goes down, guys. I don't know how long. It's a little bit longer. But yeah, Yugi versus Bandit Keith. This duel, I kind of like this duel, and I think the sub version did a better job in foreshadowing than the dub did. And in the sub version, if I recall correctly, Rebecca talks about Bandit Keith, but I forget how. And this was sort of a foreshadowing, like 6-7 episodes later, we're gonna see Bandit Keith in a Yu-Gi-Oh arc known as Battle City. You guys remember that one episode in 4Kids is very notable for censoring this part out, where they censored out the guns. And Bandit Keith sort of falls down in this trap hole or some sort, and he goes afloat like on like the ocean of Duelist Kingdom. And the rare hunters sort of pick him up because, as I said before, he was on float of the water. And Merrick takes control of Bandit Mind, and from that, what happens is Yugi's dueling Bandit Keith. He doesn't know what's going on, and this is the introduction of Merrick, and Merrick wants to see Yami. And if I recall correctly, this duel was okay. I think it was very plot heavy, if I recall correctly, because the whole building where they were dueling, it was like some sort of warehouse. It was on fire, and Yugi needed help from Trishan and Joey, and there was like the puzzle. The puzzle was neutralized, so this was Yugi versus Bandit Keith, and Joey and Trishan tried to help out. They were hitting some keyhole because the puzzle was stuck in something, and they were hitting the puzzle, or I mean the little keyhole, whatever. And they weren't doing it until the Tim transformed, and it was like, put the stick through the keyhole and take out the puzzle, which just makes Joey and Trishan idiots, complete idiots. But about this duel, Yugi notices that it's Bandit Keith simply because of the machine deck, and he uses that during the Joey and Bandit Keith duel during Duelist Kingdom. So yeah, this duel is okay. I like the rankings. The rankings okay a little bit in my opinion. I would have switched things up personally. Kaiba versus Joey Season 1. Episode 16, and this is our first duel. They have a shit ton of duels. But yeah, this duel is okay. I like the shit. Actually, this duel is pretty damn good because this is the introduction of the solid state duel disc that Kaiba created, or the solid vision, my bad. Yeah, the solid vision duel disc that Yugi created and Kaiba created. And it's quite cool. I hate the design, like you sort of spin it and out comes the holograms. I remember seeing Battle Locks in that duel. That's the only monster I remember seeing. And Kaiba wins that duel, but the shit talking that Kaiba did in these episodes in the dub were amazing. Like, oh, Joey, you're a second-rate duelist. This, that. Typical Kaiba shit talking in the dub. And yeah, that's basically my thoughts on this duel. So far, I like the ranking. Now, this, I think, for at least this ranking, this is probably the best spot. I love this image. This image, that little whole friendship. I remember the Yu-Gi-Oh! The Sacred Cards game. It had Joey and Yugi. And then the Yu-Gi-Oh card known as Yu-Jo Friendship or something like that, and it has Yugi and Joey as well. This duel is so well, in my opinion. This is, I think, this is right after the Mai and Joey duel, because episode 6 is titled The First Duel, and Yugi and Meiko go at it. And basically the backstory on this duel is that Yugi and Ko were looking for food, and they see fish, and Meiko comes up and has a duel with them. And we get this whole backstory on Meiko. I think Meiko Tsunami is such an underrated character in Yu-Gi-Oh! Easily has one of the greatest backstories. Easily has one of the greatest motivations. His deck is badass as well. This duel basically where he took advantage of the whole field spell in the Duelist Kingdom, where wherever your dueling platform's on, and if it follows your deck type in terms of if it's water, electricity, etc., you'll get a boost. And I remember in this duel when Meiko Tsunami has the moon out, there's a moon out, and a Tim summons Giant Soldier of Stone to destroy the moon. Yeah, it says it right here. That's where I read it off. He destroys the moon, and what that does is that it reveals all of Meiko Tsunami's monsters, and a Tim wins from there. But man, Meiko Tsunami, what a wonderful character. This duel is actually well choreographed. I like this duel a lot. Damn, this is a good spot. Joey versus Bonds. This duel is okay. I would sort of rank this a little bit on the higher end And I remember Bonds. I forget the other characters. We get to see them during the Battle City quarterfinals around the same time as the Jean-Claude Magnum duel with Mai. And this is when we get Bakura's introduction to Battle City, and it makes no sense. Like, he's gone for the whole damn portion of the Battle City Part 1. And then out of nowhere, he just comes out of nowhere. Joey gets lured in a cave of some sort. And Bonds has this, it's like a graveyard, or like, I don't even know how to pronounce it. It might be somewhere here listed. I have no idea. It's a very like dark, gloomy type of deck, like a haunted deck. But yeah, Joey wins this duel, of course, because he's Joey. And 54 on the spot is Joey versus Mai Part 2. The first time was in episode 6, and I'm pretty sure Mai won that duel. Now, at this point in dueling, and I'm not going to say what happens in the duel, you guys can read it right here. I just forget how the duel goes out. But Mai should not be able to defeat Joey. I don't care what the hell happens. And if I recall correctly, I'm pretty sure this is right before the Joey and Valen duel. So Joey was kind of tired, if I remember correctly. But yeah, Joey should not have been able to lose to Mai. He should have been able to beat Mai by this point. He's such a seasoned duelist, such a veteran in dueling. Yeah, number 53 is Yugi versus Pegasus, Season 1, Episode 2. I'm actually on this point in the manga. So this is right after the Duel Monsters Championship, at least for Japan, and I don't know how this is in the dub. And Weevil wins. He defeats Dinosaur Raizuki. I'm sorry if I butchered that name. And he defeats him. And this duel is kind of interesting because this is the first Millennium item we get introduced. Actually, the second Millennium item we get introduced in all of Yu-Gi-Oh!, at least for the Duel Monsters anime. And Pegasus uses his eyes, and Yugi has, the timer's running out, right? The timer's running out. Yugi loses the duel because the timer ran out. Even if there was no timer, he still would have lost, simply because he didn't have enough time to adapt to Pegasus. But yeah, this duel's cool. I remember Yugi summoning Summon Skull in this duel, if I recall correctly. And I remember the Komori Dragon. That monster's dope as hell. And Pegasus activates Dragon Capture Jar, I'm pretty sure, which takes holds of Yugi's Komori Dragon. 52, Yugi versus Phantom Kaiba, Season 1, Episode 9 to 10. So I remember this duel. This duel is okay. Basically what happens is they take Kaiba's deck because Pegasus security guards come in and they sort of hunt down Kaiba and the S4 because they censored out the guns in that portion as well. Kaiba hacks into Pegasus's security, and the password was a Maximilian Pegasus or Maximilian or something like that. Narcissistic ass Pegasus. Phantom Kaiba, the fake Kaiba, whatever you want to call him, is about to win the duel, but Kaiba hacks onto the Duelist Kingdom machines or something like that, and he neutralizes the Phantom Kaiba's blue eyes, which makes it him win that duel. But yeah, this duel is really okay. I wouldn't give this the 52 spot. I'd rather put in like the 57, somewhere around their region. But this is actually me breaking down these duels, giving my thoughts. And as you can tell, you guys can go in this article. I'll link it down below. You guys can give your personal thoughts on it, whatever you think about it. And thank you to Kira's Corner for allowing me to give my thoughts on this so far. And I actually did my votes ahead of time. I said I would have moved a few around. Now you guys comment down below what your guys' thoughts on this. Go on the Buzzfeed article, share it. I'm actually going to tweet this out right now. And also, rank it. What do you guys think? What would you guys do? What would you have done? Would you have moved it around? Would you more or less agree? Or would you put some of these much higher? So that's the video for today. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day as always.